so to speak.
You know, a really important topic is the variance in different people's experiences with this medicine. So Anthony's and my experience for the first time with this medicine couldn't be more different, and yet it is still a powerful healer. So maybe you can share a bit about what your first experience was like, the edited version, of course.
God, so that was almost 11 years ago. This May will be 11 years, and it feels like eons ago. It's like lifetime. You know what's interesting? Sometimes I forget all about it, and then sometimes like very vivid memories come back from it.
Oh, it was probably a very poignant time.
Yeah, no. The call was strong. It was really strong, and I just trusted. I trusted. I didn't do a whole lot of research. I just kept feeling in my body how strong this medicine was calling, and I just went. I had like 2 weeks to prepare. I wasn't even prepared. I don't even know what that means.
We know what it means now, but he didn't have any idea what it meant then.
I just went, and the medicine took me on a ride. It was strong. It was deep. It was never scary for me, actually. I never was scared. I mean, there was one part when I had a really profound dream that Amber and I, she married somebody else. It was this circus-like dream, but it was real for me. And that was the most intense part. Everything else that the medicine showed me, suffering in the universe, the expansion of the universe, the Bwiti tribe dancing around me, a indigenous man hovering horizontal over me,
past life stuff,
but this Bwiti man above me, like my whole body was in convulsions because he was healing, like my physical body, my central nervous system is what I recall, you know, seeing the beginning of time, and then just moving this curtain, and then all of a sudden seeing all the chaos in the world and suffering, and then back to the beginning of time, and playing archery with, you know, at the top of a building, you know, literally hanging from the top of a building playing archery. And so it was chaos and crazy. It was funny. It was comical. It was strong. But it was never scary. I never felt scared with Iboga. And that's not saying that Iboga can't be scary, but I didn't. And when I returned home to Miami, and I walked in the door, Amber was like, "What the hell happened?" And I was like, "I don't know."
Well, mostly because I could see such a shift in him.
I don't know what happened, but what I do know is that I need to go back there. I need to go back to Costa Rica and figure out how I can volunteer, sweep some floors. I need to be around the medicine, and I need to get to Gabon. So long story short, I emailed them. They said, come back. I was back in Costa Rica 2 weeks later, volunteering, apprenticing, training, and then 6 months later, I was in Gabon. From that point of May of 2013, my work has been serving the spirit of the medicine. So it called deep. I followed it, and I've been through a number of initiations in Gabon, well, 2 in Gabon, but like I've been through a number of initiations with the medicine in general. Yeah, so I mean, the details of it really kind of escape me, but the energy.
Well, the point is that it was a very, very deep call, and the before and after point. It was a transformational experience for you.
Yeah,
right.
No, for sure.
My experience the first time with Iboga was not that at all. I mean, it was interesting. It was, you know, it was psychedelic. I barely remember any of it. My call to the medicine was not like his. I found it because you were already working with it. So it was sort of like a curiosity, really. Whereas the people that are typically coming here are coming here because they have a really deep call to this medicine. That was not the case for me. And there was a very profound shift after that point for me in my life. I could quantify the ways that Iboga was teaching me to trust and the way it was deconstructing things that were not working and serving me anymore. But it took time for me to really have the deep, profound experience that this medicine can bring. Now, that is not necessarily the case with people that have a really deep call and come here. But the point is that Anthony's experience was very clear and transformational. Mine was a little fuzzier, and it took a little bit longer for the gifts to unfold. And so the point is that the medicine leaves no one behind. It's just that it works with everyone differently. It meets everyone differently, the point where they are in their lives. And so there's no comparison. And in a group of, 8 to 10 people, everybody's going to have their own unique experience because it works with us. It gets online with our own inner wisdom, our own inner being, and exactly the treatment plan that we need. But it doesn't need to look like my treatment plan. It couldn't have looked the same for me as it did for you, because we're different beings and we have a different need.
And my lesson and teaching, wisdom and healing from Iboga came way after the retreat. It kept coming. I mean, it's still happening. I mean, obviously I'm a practitioner, but a lot of the lessons of feeling a deeper connection to self, feeling a deeper connection to nature, following my truth, feeling empowered, the healing of my central nervous system. I had a tremendous amount of anxiety in my life, and after Iboga, it started lowering and lowering and simmering, and I just got more comfortable in being me, being the crazy loon that I am. I just got more comfortable. I really did. I got more comfortable in social settings, more comfortable on camera, which I never liked to be on camera. I thought I felt weird. I felt insecure. And so, this stuff didn't happen in my first experience. Like I wasn't learning all the stuff that I'm speaking of now. Like this all started coming after, the weeks after, the months after, the years after. I started noticing different things about my behaviors, noticing different things about the way that I think, the way that I talk to myself, the way that I relate to myself, the way that I relate to others. I have just more awareness, more understanding, more expansiveness in my life.
I think a really important topic actually is, will this medicine transform you? And the answer is yes, it can, for sure. But it doesn't actually do the work for us.
You gotta meet it halfway.
Well, you have to meet it halfway, and it's also a process, I mean, I'm really just getting clearer and clearer and clearer that the idea is not actually to heal everything about ourselves. More importantly, it's actually about accepting ourselves as we are. That doesn't mean we're complacent. It doesn't mean that we are not engaged in up leveling and fine tuning and letting go and becoming better, but that the journey is not about fixing everything that's broken. It's about learning to be okay with what is, accepting who we are, accepting parts of our journey, and being willing to learn and to grow and to change. And so it's a path. I mean, 14 years ago is when we started this path of self-discovery, if you'll call it. 11 years ago with Iboga for you, 10 years ago with Iboga for me. And I don't think we're even a shadow of the same people that we were then, and we're still working with some of the same stuff, and that's just part of it. I would say, if something I was working with, back then had like a 90% intensity that was causing me pain, maybe now it has a 30% intensity, or vice versa. If I felt not very worthy and then I felt extremely worthy, like 100% totally embodied worth in certain times in my life, that maybe I operate on a regular at like 85%. So
I think the medicine gives us the ability to just be with who we are, accept who we are, accept the highs, accept the lows, accept the dark, accept the light, accept everything in between. And to Amber's point, there's nothing to fix. Fix is like it's just be with whatever it is. And the medicine helped me shift my perception about myself. Taught me how to be less hard on myself. This idea of like you should do this. It's a very harsh way to speak to yourself. And instead,
it doesn't work very well.
It doesn't work very well. Instead like Instead of should, go in the mirror and go like this. I love you. And that feels amazing. Like literally, it feels amazing when you touch your body and like give yourself love, and instead of saying you should do this, you should do that, or blah blah blah, like you actually you feel the energy of going, oh my god, I love you. You're a good man. You're crazy, man. Sometimes you're a dickhead, but most of the time,
Never.
most of the time, you're not. You know, it's like,
Yeah, this medicine is magical, and it's not a magic pill. So we take it, we receive downloads, we receive wisdom, we clear space for new thoughts, feelings, and behaviors and awarenesses to come in. And then we have to practice what that looks like in our real day-to-day lives. What does that look like walking that journey? What does it look like to respond rather than react? And that's really where the transformation lies. The medicine can give you a reset in your mind, body, and soul, but you actually have to practice living that vibration. And it's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy.
No. You know, there's some big thing, like oftentimes people come here and they just stop. Like they've done a lot of work on themselves, they're present, they're aware, and they just stop. And Iboga is very effective at like shifting, so we become unstuck. Like, oh my god, I just got out of that rut. I got out of the idea of just banging my head against the wall, like I could not move further down the path. And Iboga is really incredible at like just helping to move us out of that stuck energy and then shift and open our perspective to other possibilities, because the possibilities are infinite, really. And Iboga is infinite, the wisdom's infinite, and the wisdom inside of us is infinite as well.
It's not always about healing trauma
No.
and PTSD and density and addiction, although it's great for those things.
Sure.
But sometimes it's just about moving the blockages.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really effective at that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Basi.